This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net. It is Tuesday, May the 4th. May the 4th be...
With you.
Oh, thank you.
Happy Star Wars Day, Karen and John.
It's
Okay,
also,
Paul.
It's
Hi, Karen.
also Free Cone Day.
Free Cone Day. Oh,
Yeah.
like traffic cones?
No, Ben and Jerry, Free Cone Day.
No kidding. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Where do I go to a Ben and Jerry's to get a
up
free
in
cone?
Cleveland Heights.
Really? There's
Yeah.
a Ben and Jerry's store in
Yeah,
Cleveland Heights?
right by your
I
kid.
apologize to everybody listening who was looking for what in the world.
Yeah.
Ice cream trumps everything.
And it's right next to John Carroll.
Oh, well, it hasn't. There was no Ben and Jerry's in the olden days.
Yeah, Paul, don't forget, we were there for...
Yeah, don't say it, John. I'm glad you froze up there. We don't want people to know how old we are.
And poor John keeps freezing today.
Yeah,
So
John's freezing up today, so bear with us. Don't tell him how old we are, John.
Well, we could have been child prodigies, We could have been there when we were like 16.
Yeah, right. So anyways, we're here. It's Tuesday. It's time for What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Our motto is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. And that's what it is. It's real news from around the world, around the galaxy, around the universe. But sometimes is a misnomer. It's very usually strange. And hopefully it's funny. That's what we try to do. Give you a 1 hour break from the bad news, the business, the politics, all that other crap. You don't hear any of that here. Just nothing but weird stuff that hopefully is funny. And weird sports. John as always has another weird sport for us today. We've got some world records. I want to mention to the people who are listening to the podcast, we are on YouTube as well, and I will be referring to the pictures that I'm showing. So if you want to see some of the weird stuff that we talk about, please go to YouTube and I don't know, I guess you search on my name or What in the World and you'll find it, or go to newclevelandradio.net, which is our platform, courtesy of Karen Hale over there. Karen is the media mogul there. She has a number of great podcasts. So go to newclevelandradio.net, click on my name, and you find out how to get download our podcast for free. All of them are free. And
we don't charge a cent.
No. So please support us, like us, do follow, do whatever it is you're supposed to do so that we know that we have people listening to us.
Absolutely.
And watching. And we're here once a week. It doesn't always have to be Star Wars Day, May the 4th. It's also Election Day. I have my little sticker on here. Our little city of Brecksville, Ohio had one whole initiative on the ballot. So I did my duty and I went and I voted for it. So
okay.
Very
only
good.
because I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but it's to allow this company to buy more land in Brecksville. And my niece's husband works there. So, and in fact, my cousin's granddaughter, it works there now too. So I'm trying to help them out. So that's all the politics we're going to talk about here.
Okay.
So anyway, so what in the world am I talking about today, you may ask?
What
are you talking
let's
about,
see.
Paul?
Oh, John, this is for you. They found this giant finger in Italy. John was just in Florida. I wish I would have known because a bunch of mermaids set a world record. You could have checked it out. I've got two time travelers, not one, but two time traveler stories. We're going to look at pumpkin toads in Brazil. That's not a snack, Karen. So don't worry. We won't be talking about eating.
Okay.
We are going to talk about men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and why that's true, and why men took Mars. Bigfoot. We have a Bigfoot story. Bigfoot makes a phone call, John, so you don't have to worry about blurry videos, just garbled phone calls.
Of course.
He pulled a phone in his hand.
You'll find out. You just have to wait.
Okay.
We've got the scariest swimming pool in the world. Wait till you see the pictures of this thing. You are not going to believe this. Hopefully, if we can get to it, I've got a story about Robin Hood and the famous arrow, silver arrow that he won in the contest in Sherwood Forest. So hopefully we'll get to that. More odd news, more trivia, more world records, as always. And then, of course, before we sign off, we always play everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the Co-Host. So make sure you stay tuned for that. John and Karen have both been doing really well lately, so hopefully I can change that. We'll find out.
No, we want it to continue, Paul.
John, I think you're betting. I think you're the Pete Rose of Bluff the Co-Host.
No, don't accuse me of that.
You're not going to get into Bluff the Co-Host Hall of Fame if you keep doing this, John.
Well, but I'm not gambling on it, though. Believe me.
In Cleveland, yeah, we need to set that up in Cleveland. That would be another. Well, right next door to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll build a little pyramid with all the weird stuff we talk about. Anyways, let's just get right to it. So, my favorite story of the week. This is. Let's see. Do I have a picture of this one? Oh yeah, I do. It's from today's news, and I'll get that picture up in a second here. A Japanese firm is developing a handbag like a thing that you carry like a handbag, except it's a portable container so that fish owners can take their pets for a walk and they'll be alive so they don't have to flush them when they get home. Now, I want to show you a picture of this because I know you're not going to believe it. Let me advance. Oh, what happened here? Oh, let's just do this because I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. There's what in the world? Let's see. I should have. Oh, there's my little arrow down there. There we go. So, portable fish container. I was not joking when I said that. That's a real thing in Japan. Now you can see there's a little gauge on it to measure the oxygen so the fish can breathe, and there's actually a little feeding tube so that the fish can eat. So I think I'd like to have one of these for myself. I could sit in this in the car, and if there's a diesel truck in front of me, I just turn the oxygen up and I can breathe, and I don't have to stop at McDonald's or wherever for fast food. I've got food coming in, but I don't know about if does the fish look like he's enjoying this? I'm not sure. And he's going to get to the dog park or wherever it is that they're going and find out there's no dogfish and no catfish, and he's there all by himself anyways. He can't go running around, but
he can't even swim in this thing.
He can't even. That's right. For those who can't see it, the container isn't much bigger than the fish. This looks like maybe a foot-long fish or so. This isn't a goldfish from the.
Well, is the fish the pet of the person, or is it just
allegedly? That's what. Well, good question, John. What they say is they say it's for people to take their pet fish for a walk. Now that's a pretty big fish to be a pet. And my first question before I answer that one is, do fish really want to go for walks? Because this is, it's in a glass enclosed container, which means that it's going to be just like the aquarium. All that poor fish is going to see is people walking up and knocking on the glass to see if it moves. That's it. But at the end of the article about these things, and it was in Japan, so I had to translate it. The real reason that they came up with this, reason number one for bringing your fish home, it's for bringing your fish home after you buy it.
Oh,
better than those little Glad bags that you get.
Well, that's a better container for that purpose, obviously.
Yeah. The poor fish. I always wonder. The fish is in this bag. He's looking around. He's thinking he must be in a water balloon, and this is not going to end well. Swimming in a water balloon. And then the number two reason that they developed this, and remember, we're talking about Japan here, is to bring home fish to make sashimi. Now, I have heard of this. I haven't tried it, but it's fresh raw fish that you slice up meat and pop it in your mouth. You don't roll it into rice like you do with sushi. This is sashimi. I think the fish are going to catch on to this real fast, and the word's going to go amongst the fish that if you're in one of these things, you're going to end up being eaten. So when they try to get them out, the fish is going to cram into the other end so you can't reach them. And then you're going to try and dump it out, and the fish is going to turn sideways and get stuck in there, and you'll never get the fish out. So you're going to have to flush them anyways.
He's too big to be flushed.
Too big to be yeah, that's true.
I agree.
They go down the septic tank.
Yeah.
And then you know what's going to happen, so somebody's going to buy this for their pet fish. Next thing you know, they're going to want to take it on an airplane, and this is my companion fish.
Oh my God.
I have to travel with it. And then so they tuck it under, they can't put it in the overhead, so they tuck it underneath their seat. And the plane hits some turbulence, and the thing rolls and rolls and rolls and ends up in first class. And somebody looks down there and says, "Oh, it's sashimi," and then there goes the fish. So I could not believe that someone would actually come up with something like this, a container for carrying your fish.
Nope.
One fish out. So it's not even good for like bass fishing contests, where they have big containers to put the fish. This is one fish, period. So now I mentioned we have not one but two time traveler stories this week. I'll take that fish now. We don't have to look at that here.
Poor guy.
In just 1 week, I forget how to do this. There we go. Okay. So, John, I'm going to ask you this question first. If you could travel back in time, where would you go? What time period would you go to, and what would you do?
Well, the time period would be the Renaissance.
The Renaissance.
And I would go to my father's native land of Italy.
That'd be a good time to go there.
Sure. And I would just hang out. I guess that's what I would do.
Just hang out.
I would just take
you wouldn't go looking for like Michelangelo or go to Sistine Chapel, see how the painting's going.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see if I could go, if I'm back in time.
Yeah.
Characters from the past. So Michelangelo for sure.
How about you, Karen? Where would you go?
To the Garden of Eden.
Oh, that's going back pretty far.
Yeah.
1,000 years.
I could just
allegedly
sit there and eat apples. Oh no, I'm not supposed to eat the apple. That's right.
That's right. I'm not. Okay. Now I had all kind of thoughts here that I'm just not going to go through. Anyway, here's what I would do. I would go back to the time of the Civil War, and I would go to the White House and I would tell President Lincoln that the play sucks. That's what I would do.
And
so this guy
stay out of Ford Theater, right?
Stay out of Ford Theater. That's right. Go watch TV or look out the window, do something. So anyway, so this guy, the first guy, claims to be a time traveler from the year 2582. So we're talking about 400 and some 70 or so years in the future. He claims that U.S. astronauts will find an exact clone of the planet Earth, complete with clones of humans, that would be us, in our solar system on May 8th of 2021. That would be, let's see, today's May the 4th. In 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days. And I'm assuming that he means the astronauts on the space station. He wasn't very specific. Astronauts will find an entire planet, brand new planet in the solar system, exact clone of Earth. And then he said, and oh, by the way, if I get 10,000 likes on TikTok, I'll show you my face. So first question that comes to mind is, who knew that in 2582, we'd still care about social media? And why
that's a great point, Paul. That's a great point.
Here 400 years. Oh, I got it. Oh, wait till they hear how many TikTok viewers I got.
Ancient history.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and where is this planet hiding? He must be working with David Copperfield, because, David Copperfield could hide the Empire, the Statue of Liberty and an elephant. He's got to be involved with this somehow, keeping that planet hidden.
Right.
And then he's gonna, throw open the curtain. There's the planet. There's an elephant. There's a beautiful alien. And he takes his bow and off he goes. But so these guys, these time travelers, they come to warn us. They always have to warn us of something. Why on earth would you come from 400 years in the future to warn us about something and use TikTok to broadcast your warning? Unless you don't want any old people to know about it, because I had a hard time finding TikTok. So and finding his, eventually I made it to what he did. But Karen, do you know how to use TikTok? Are you a TikTok user?
No,
And I don't mean clocks.
I'm a ding dong user.
No, we're not talking about this show, Karen.
Oh. No TikTok for me.
John, are you a TikToker?
No, neither Annette or I are involved in TikTok at all.
Annette, John's lovely spouse. Good for you. So anyway, so now the other question is, what's going on in 2582? Because the other time traveler, completely different guy, also from 2582, he comes back and he says that we are 5 years away from 3 days of total darkness, during which pyramids, Egyptian pyramids, will fly through the sky and shine beams of light down on Earth. And his warning is, don't look at the lights. That was it. He comes all the way 400 years in the future to tell us that in June of 2026, there's going to be 3 days of darkness and pyramids are going to fly, but don't look at the light. So my thing, I'm thinking the next thing he did, because then he disappears. So my thinking is he went to 2026, to the day after this happened, to tell people, haha, I told you not to look at the lights. But they come up with these strange things to warn us about. And if you're coming from the future, tell me where my keys are. Tell me where my remote is. Tell me where my left socks are. I don't want to know about pyramids flying and all this other nonsense. Although that would be pretty cool, I would think. But if you can't look at it, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's worthless.
Do what?
That would be worthless.
It would be worthless. That's exactly right. Yeah, don't come and warn me about something that I can't look at. So I was thinking maybe you have to set up one of those boxes with the pinhole in it, like you look at the eclipse, or watch it on TV. That would, because you can. Apparently you can videotape that kind of stuff and it won't burn your eyes. But why come all that way? Anyways, now let's go back in time to let's see, I think it was 300 AD. They built a giant statue of the Roman Emperor Constantine. Big guy in the Catholic Church, big guy in Rome, all that kind of stuff. Sometime, and it still exists, I'm going to show you a picture of it, but sometime in its existence, it lost one of its fingers. And I have a picture. I know John wants to know what the finger looks like. Lost it.
I'm curious.
I know you are. Let's see. What happened to my there it is. Let's try that again.
Goodbye, fish.
There he is. Okay. So there's the giant finger. You can't tell. I'm gonna show you another picture to put it in perspective. So somewhere in like about 500 years ago, or 500 years after the 4th century, that would be 900 AD. Someone broke apart Constantine, and his finger disappeared. Now, this was a pretty big statue. There's a picture of a couple looking at the head and the hand. Now that has the finger attached, so that gives you some idea. But there, you can see there's still some missing pieces. But now the good news is now Constantine has an index finger, so he can point to where he lost the other finger. And obviously it looks like he lost his chest and whatever goes down.
Yeah. Lost a lot of himself.
Yeah. So the finger oh, here we go. The finger disappeared in 1471, and so it had no finger when whoever owned it donated it to Pope Sixtus IV. Now, why he accepted it without a finger, I don't know. I would have waited until they found the finger. So then they looked all over the place. It took them 400 years to find the finger, and they found it in Paris in 1860. Except, and this comes directly from the source, the researchers didn't recognize it as a finger and thought it was a giant toe.
Oh God.
Yeah, a giant toe. That looks like a finger to me. Okay. So, but this is France. The French obviously don't recognize a finger unless it has a cigarette in it. So for any French people listening, I apologize. That was so there you go. There's a close-up. They didn't, I thought they might have welded it or something so it would look a little more natural, but they must have used monster glue or something. And
Gorilla glue.
Thank you. That was the one. That's the one that people used on their hair, and who knows. So anyway, so there you have it. The story of Constantine and his missing finger. Let's see. Oh, this was interesting. This comes. I said, what in the world always goes down into space too? A group of experts from. I'm going to take this down here for a second. Group of experts. I keep forgetting where to look to find these. Stop. There we go. Group of experts, space experts from the United States and the European Space Agencies, did a week-long simulation last week of what would happen if an asteroid was 35 million miles away, and they detected it, and they could watch it coming towards Earth, and they had a certain amount of time to do something in order to protect Earth from the asteroid. So guess what happened in the simulation? The asteroid hit. They couldn't do anything. It destroyed Germany, the Czech Republic, and Austria with the force of a large nuclear bomb. That was probably an awfully large nuclear bomb to take out that many countries. So this is what happens when Bruce Willis stops making movies about how to stop asteroids. The experts don't know how to do it, and they don't have any movies to watch that would tell them what to do. Now, John, do you remember the movie that Bruce Willis was in where he stopped an asteroid or a comet from hitting Earth?
Yeah, I believe the movie was Armageddon.
Armageddon, very good. 1998, Armageddon, starring Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, and that was about it. The rest of the cast was downhill after that. So those were the big stars in that movie. 1998. Must have been a bad year because there was also a second asteroid movie. So everybody was doing these panic movies. Do you remember what there was another asteroid movie heading towards Earth that was, I don't want to give the plot away, but something happened and it didn't hit Earth. Same year.
I don't recall, Paul.
Deep Impact was the name of that one.
Okay.
Now, this one starred Robert Duvall, Tia Leone, Elijah Wood, who eventually went on to be in the Harry Potter movies, Vanessa Redgrave, Maximilian Schell, and Morgan Freeman as the president. Now, you would think with a cast like that, this would be the one that everybody went to see. But no, it bombed at the box office. Everybody went to see Armageddon with Bruce Willis, hoping he'd say yippee-ki-yay, something, something. as he destroyed the
Can't shake
asteroid.
that. He'll never shake that phrase, He'll never
shake it. No. That'll be on his tombstone.
Yes.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Right.
From wherever I am.
Oh.
So now this story comes from Italy. Oh, John, this is for you. You want to go to Italy. Italy's culture minister just announced plans to restore the retractable wooden floor in the Coliseum of Rome. That's where all the gladiators fought and the chariot races, and they fed Christians to the lions and all that good stuff. So they're going to restore the wooden floor the Coliseum. I'm going to see if I can bring that picture up here. So this is what it looks like right now. John, have you been to see the Coliseum by any chance?
Yes, and when Annette and I were in Italy a couple years ago, we did tour the Coliseum. It's really an impressive facility. It really is.
Very impressive. The lovely Donna and I have also been there, and it's a very impressive structure. But you have to imagine that there's a floor on it, because what all that stuff is that these tourists are looking at is the tunnels that were underneath it, where the gladiators walked around, and the animals and all the stuff that they eventually moved up somehow onto the floor. And I think I have a picture of what the floor is going to look like here. So there's that's what they're going to do. They're going to install a floor like that. Now, some people might say that's destroying the aesthetics of the stadium, the Coliseum. And then, once they do this, it's going to take a couple years to do. And I believe this will be retractable, which is pretty impressive for the Romans. Okay. And I think I've got a video. This is kind of what it's going to look like as those boards open and close. So, that the Romans, I think, is more than the Italians are going to, rebuild it. But what's going to happen? They're going to use this to recreate gladiator fights. And once that gets popular, they're going to go off the deep end, and they're going to start having monster chariot races, and they're going to have all that other, and it's just going to take away from the whole thing. But John, I was looking at this and I thought of you. I was thinking, why not do something like this at First Energy Stadium? Now, everybody watched the NFL draft last week, which was in Cleveland, right outside of First Energy Stadium, which is where the Cleveland Browns play. Nice new stadium, built a few years ago, very modern. But people in Cleveland miss the old Cleveland Stadium, which was in the same spot as First Energy. It was there for 50 or 60 years. It really, it was an old stick, not as bad as the Coliseum, but approaching it. but people have this love of that old stadium. So what I think they should do at First Energy is put in one of these removable Cleveland stadiums, kind of press a button and all these boards and things move around and they turn it into the old Cleveland Stadium. Poles pop up in front of your seat. The men's room become latrines, which is that's where you had to go in the old. I don't know if they even had women's bathrooms back in those days. I think it was just latrines everywhere. Those were the days, though. So anyways, that's what they're doing to the Coliseum in Rome. I thought it's kind of cool and kind of not cool, kind of history destroying. Now, Karen, I promised we talk about pumpkin toads, because I know you love toads and you love pumpkins. New species of tiny neon toads. There's one right there. Isn't that a pretty little animal? They call them pumpkin toadlets, and they just discovered them. They glow in the dark. So guess how they found them? They found them in the mountains of Brazil, but people the scientists who found them are already warning, don't go looking for them. And whatever you do, don't put them in your mouth. Now, why somebody would do that, you have to know a little bit about psychedelic toads and licking toads and all that. But that's why they would do it. But you don't want to do that with this toad, because they're poisonous. And they can irritate the skin in your mouth and all that other stuff. So first thing I thought it was pumpkin toadlets would be a great name for a band. But one of the things it said was that the cute ones are always poison. And that's something my mom used to say to me when I would go out on dates. The cute ones are always poison.
Bad.
Yeah, no, she never said that. I would but I thought it was a decent joke, so I thought we'd go with it. Okay, one more weird animal for us here. scientists studying coral reefs in, I think this was in Australia, by Australia. They found a new species of worms that grow in and around coral reefs. And I think I have no, I don't. Do I have a picture of one? Maybe I do. Yeah, there it is, right there. So now take a good look at that worm, Karen and John. You'll notice that it has one head, but the body kind of branches off like the roots of a tree. And this is one of the few creatures in the world that only has one head, but it has multiple bodies. And the thing that caught my eye in this study, and you'll know why, is that each of those bodies has its own stomach, and each one has its own butt. So you got one head trying to manage. There's at least 8 or 9 butts on this worm already, and it's going to keep on growing. So what they do is they live on sponges, which is a good idea, because if you got to wipe that many butts, you want to be close to a sponge. And I just thought that was the weirdest looking creature I've seen in a long time. Much weirder than the glow in the dark.
It's like a large centipede. It's like a large.
Kind of looks like a centipede. You can see it says one millimeter down there, so that's like about a 50th of a millimeter. It's not a very big little creature. Certainly, you'd have to eat a lot of them to fill up. If you were thinking about eating one. Now, let's move on to something else that lives in the water that's more pleasant, and that would be mermaids. So here's our world record story for the day. A total of 110 people wearing mermaid suits performed underwater acrobatics at a resort in China, thereby setting a world record for the most mermaids in a show. 110 mermaids, all swimming at once. They couldn't fit all of them into one picture. They had a video, but I couldn't figure out how to get the video on here. So here's these mermaids swimming upwards in this, and they're swimming with fish. The fish aren't even in those containers. They're swimming with live fish in this giant aquarium that's part of this resort. Sailors everywhere are getting lonesome once they start looking at that many mermaids all in one place. And Aquaman, of course, Aquaman has a copy of that. This is his greatest fantasy, is 110 mermaids just waiting for him. But I thought it was interesting. Have you ever met a mermaid, Karen or John?
I can't say that I have.
John, how about you?
I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. No, I never have.
You never have met, not even at a strange bar in Las Vegas or something like that. I've never met one myself. I know some people who are mermaids. They practice a thing called mermaiding, which I didn't. Let me see if I have another mermaid here for you. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them swimming on the top of the pool. Now, those look like sharks. Little sharks in that picture. Are all mermaids
females? Are all mermaids female?
No. Technically, the males are called mermen, and there are some mermen in there. But apparently, Guinness accepted that as long as they had tails. They were wearing tails, and not the tails of the tuxedo kind, but the actual fishy kind. It counted it towards the world record. And in fact, John, if you need something to distract you here for a little while, there's a mermaid floating through the water right there. There you go.
Okay.
So mermaiding is an actual thing that people do, mostly women, where they like to dress up as mermaids. These suits are for sale. You can buy them at mermaid stores.
Oh my God.
Oh, mermaid. I don't know what they and then and you can go swimming in them. They're actually waterproof, and they attach to your body so that you can swim in them. I'll take that off there. So that's just too distracting. So the practice of putting on mermaid suits in order to swim and look like a mermaid, I thought this was interesting. Goes back to a lady by the name of Annette Kellerman. Annette Kellerman was one of the first women in history to wear a one-piece bathing suit instead of three-piece pantaloons. And I've got a picture of those that's my, let's see, where's the pantaloons? Well, I guess I didn't put those in here. So Annette Kellerman was the star of the very first mermaid movie called, get a load of this, John, The Mermaid. 1911. 1911.
Wow.
First actress to wear a mermaid suit in a movie. Second actress to wear a mermaid suit in a movie, Esther Williams. Now, Esther Williams is much more famous than Annette Kellerman, but Esther Williams made Annette Kellerman famous because she wore the suit in a movie called $1 Million Mermaid about Annette Kellerman. So Esther Williams made her famous. There's also the original fake mermaid display, like that resort, is in Florida by John. I wish I would have known last week while you're on vacation. I would have had you go to Weeki Wachee Springs.
Hey, we were just by there, as a matter of fact.
Weeki Wachee Springs.
Yes.
You didn't stop in and get us a postcard?
No. And it's more of like a child's water park is what it is.
That's exactly what it is, and
yeah,
that's where the putting women in mermaid suits and putting them underwater for the entertainment value was first originated back in 1947.
Huh.
Now, if you want to do this, Karen, the Mermaid Cat Academy offers classes in how to be a mermaid, and they were the first. And now there's if you need to go to the Philippines for this, the Philippine Mermaid Swimming Academy and several other schools around the world teach you how to do that mermaid flip so that you can swim through the water in one of those weird suits.
I don't think so. I'll let Donna go on my behalf.
Yeah, right. Okay. I was going to say, let's ask Rich and see what he thinks.
Yeah, he won't. He doesn't like the water.
Okay. So speaking of the differences between men and women, let's take that down here so we don't have to look at that. NASA, for the last 15 years, has been beaming radar at Venus. You'd think they would find what they were looking for long before 15 years, but 15 years. And so they've accumulated all the data, and they finally figured out the exact length of a day in Venus. John, you want to guess how long one day in Venus is compared to Earth?
I'm going to say a week and a half.
Week and a half. Karen, how about you? By the way, John was way too low. I'll give you a hint.
Really?
Low?
Low, yeah.
Wow. A month and a half.
One day in Venus, 243 Earth days.
No,
It's
I can't stay awake that long.
It's like it's barely. Good point, Karen. Good point, because that means a Venus day, Venus work day, and let me think. One eighth of that. So a work day, 8 hours, the equivalent of 8 hours out of the 243 days, is still 80 days. So to work 8 hours a day on Venus, 80 days, which is why men took Mars and let women have Venus.
Yeah, I understand now. Yeah.
Boy, that's a long day.
No kidding. Yeah, it really is. I know. I can't think of any woman who would want to work that as one shift.
No
Well, you
way.
would feel every work day would be like an eon.
An eon. There you go. That's right. That's right. So now this is another place I've been to, although not this particular town, but the town of Nowra in Australia, New South Wales, has all of a sudden it's overrun by massive flocks of white Corella cockatoos, which are wrecking the whole town. And I had a picture of that, of what that looks like. This is like the birds. Hitchcock's The Birds, only they're white. They're beautiful birds, but you can see they're all over. They're covering, for those of you who can't see the picture, they're covering the street, they're covering cars, they're covering roofs. And of course, there's cockatoo poop all over the place. There's nothing that they can do about this because these Corella cockatoos are an protected species in Australia. So there's nothing that they can do. my thinking is they ought to make a sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds and call it The Birds 2, Terrifying, and Now They Talk, because these cockatoos obviously can talk. One little note of information. I don't know if the text chick is watching today, but the lovely Donna and I used to own a cockatoo back when we lived in Houston. Interesting bird to have as a pet. We never had a little carrier like we did for the fish, and eventually we had to sell it because it was they're very loud. So they're louder than me and Donna combined. So figured nobody wants to be around. Okay, so I promised the Bigfoot story, a talking Bigfoot. I wish I could display the video, but I can't here. Let's take these birds down for a second. Recent Nebraska Bigfoot Conference, Dr. Igor Burstev. So you can guess he's from Russia. Russian Bigfoot expert. He came in and he claimed that he could talk to Bigfoot. So he picked up his cell phone and he dialed a number, and into the microphone he said, "Okay, I'm talking to so-and-so in Russia. Put Bigfoot on." And someone hands a phone to something, and all of a sudden you hear this roar and yelling and howling that 5 minutes people in this conference. He holds the cell phone up to the microphone and has this Bigfoot yelling for 25 minutes. And then every once in a while, he would pick the phone up and he would translate what the Bigfoot was saying. Because not only was he howling, but he was howling in Russian. So even if they knew how to translate, if they understood American Bigfoot, they didn't understand this one. I'm thinking if he's got Bigfoot on the other end of the line and Bigfoot is holding a cell phone, why didn't he have Bigfoot take a selfie and take a picture? And they could have showed, people would have been much more interested in a selfie of Bigfoot than they were in 25 minutes worth of howling.
I know I would.
I know you would.
But that's a great question. Why didn't he take a selfie?
You know why? Because it would have been blurry.
Right. It wouldn't be clear. It would not be clear.
I know. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So what would you ask Bigfoot if this was one of those ask me anything things? Oh, okay, I got Bigfoot on the phone. Ask him anything. Karen, what would you ask Bigfoot?
Where are you?
Where are you? That's a good question. John, how about you?
When was he born?
When was he born? Boy, you guys, my questions were, what do you think of that Daryl in The Progressive? That'd be my first question. And my other one would be, where do you go to the bathroom? Because we never find anything left over from you.
Oh no.
That's the way my mind works. All right, now I want to show you this picture. I mentioned the world's scariest swimming pool. So, oh no, I lost Karen. There she is. Okay.
Here.
Let's see. I see you. I need to practice. Okay, this is the next story is about the world's scariest swimming pool. This swimming pool is in London. Two new apartment buildings in London, about 10 stories high in the business district, are connected via something called the Sky Pool. That tells you, for those of you who can't see the picture, that it is up in the air. Not only is it up in the air, it's connecting the top floors of these two apartment buildings. And there's in the bottom, just to make it even scarier, the bottom is glass. So as you're swimming, you can look down and see 10 stories down what's walking on the ground, looking up at you as you swim by. Now, despite all the signs warning people not to do it, people get halfway through and they're so terrified they pee in the pool.
I can believe that.
I would. I'd be peeing off the edge long before I got in the pool. 10 stories up.
No way.
Yeah. It's if you want a picture, Karen, of what this looks like okay, this is from the air. So you can see what it looks like from above. This is actually connecting the roofs. It's going across the roofs
Wow.
of the two buildings. Yeah. Yeah.
That is unique, though. That's some unique architecture.
Very unique. Yeah. This is what it looks like from the ground.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Not me.
Yeah, I know. So I'm thinking, okay, so somebody convinces me to swim across this thing. So I'm in one apartment building and I put my suit on and I swim across to the other side. Now what? My clothes are still in the old building.
Yeah.
You got to
Which
swim
means I
back.
have to swim back. I don't have that much pee. I can't go back again.
Is there a walkway on the other side of it?
It looks like there might be. Yeah, it looks like there might be a walkway where
That'd be a lot
you
safer.
walk on the side and make faces at you.
Oh,
Rap
my
on the glass like it's an aquarium.
Wow.
Isn't that something? That is absolutely the scariest thing. I'm not a big fan of heights, or widths for that matter, but mostly heights. And that just scares the living.
Yeah,
out.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and I like to swim. I think it but no, that's just not for me. So, but swimming is a sport, and I'd save that till the end because I needed a segue to get into what in the world of sports with John DiNallo, who's back from vacation. John went above and beyond the Call of Duty last week and broadcast live just to make us jealous from Florida.
That was not my intention, really.
Yes, it was. The beautiful scenery, by the way. That looked like a really nice place to stay.
Yeah, it's nice down there. Yeah, it is.
I can imagine. So anyway, so poor John comes back to rain and all kind of other problems in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. So, but we're glad to have you back. And as always,
Great to be back.
Yeah, I like to challenge John with coming up with a sport. Usually I ask him to find something that maybe the two of us could participate in. Because I mentioned John and I have known each other since college. We were fraternity brothers. We used to play basketball together and volleyball and softball. We haven't done that in a long time. I'm not sure we do too well in those sports. So how about something else, John, that we could participate in? So I know what he's going to talk about today. I'm not sure that either one of us would do well in this sport either, but I'm going to let you take it over, John, while I find our picture here. So go ahead, John, with what in the world of sports?
Oh, thanks, Paul. Thanks for the introduction. So today's sport is Woolsack Racing. Let me repeat that. Woolsack Racing.
Woolsack. Oh, I get this one here. I know exactly what this is. This is here we go. Baba Black Sheep. They're have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full. But we could do that. 3 bags. That's not too bad, John.
No, I know, but the Woolsack Racing, which takes place in an area in England,
In England. Okay.
has participants carrying large wool sacks on their backs as they're running the course of 240 yards up a hill.
Now, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
You're referring to them as wool sacks. I'm going to guess that these are sacks filled with wool,
Correct.
like a pillow. Pillows aren't too heavy, John.
Well, but for the men in this competition, the sacks weigh 60 pounds,
60 pounds.
and for the women, the sacks weigh 35 pounds.
Oh,
And
60
you carry
pounds of
these-
wool. Okay.
Right, and you carry these on your back in the competition, in the race. Let me explain. Let's go back for a little background here.
Oh,
So,
here's a okay. So I just put up a picture of some people carrying them for carrying.
We're gonna
Go ahead.
yeah, we're gonna move to England here, and it's an area in England called the Cotswolds, and it's an area in south central and southwest England that is comprising what is called the Cotswold Hills, a range of rolling hills that rise from the meadows of the Upper Thames River to an escarpment known as the Cotswold Edge above the Severn Valley and Evesham Vale. So there's a lot of English geography there, but
there you go. Yeah,
suffice it to
very
say-
beautiful area. I have been there, and it's a beautiful. Also, I want to point out what John said is that not only are they carrying 60-pound bags, but they're going uphill. I think they might be going downhill occasionally, but they're also going uphill.
Yes, it's the course now. The course used to be 280 yards.
280
Now
yards.
now it's been cut back to 240. And let me explain some other background here for us. The Cotswolds is also proud to be home of some very strange traditions, such as cheese rolling, which we have highlighted here before.
Cheese rolling. One of my five. That's one we could do.
That's right. That's right. It's the same area. So anyway, so specifically the market town of Tetbury is home to the Woolsack Races, which is a uniquely British event that has to be seen to believed. In short, the race involves running 240 yards up Tetbury's famously steep Gumstool Hill while carrying a woolsack on your back.
On your back. Now, I want to point out this is the way I would carry it. These guys, I have a picture of here of some guys that are carrying it in front of them, which is the way I would carry it, because I'm sure I'd fall over and I'd at least land on something soft.
Yeah.
But on their backs, John, on their back.
Right.
I have a picture of somebody carrying. Yeah, there's the way they're supposed to be carrying.
That's right. Now the woolsack, they have been custom built by the British Wool Federation, and again they weigh 60 pounds for men's races and 35 for women's races.
They're pretty big. They're pretty big. They're not pillow. They're like half a mattress.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly right. So it's all about showing off your fitness and strength as you race up the hill that reaches a gradient of 1 in 4 and try to beat the competition.
Well,
Believe it or not,
steep. Yeah.
believe it or not, people do this for fun, as well as raising lots of money for worthy causes. It's definitely not easy, but it attracts a lot of people, to take on the challenge. Even a few celebrities have taken part in the action over the years as well.
Celebrities. Well, British celebrities. So we will qualify that.
Well, it's actually, let me continue on. The annual event is held on the last bank holiday in May.
Uh-oh. Did John freeze up on us over there? I think he
up
did.
on us. Oh my
The
God.
last bank holiday in May. The bank holidays are a big deal in England. I do remember that.
Now,
So-
Tetbury.
there he is. You're back, John. You froze
Oh,
up on us. Go ahead.
All right. So Tetbury is just a stone's throw away from the royal residence of Highgrove, and the royal family has been known to make an appearance from time to time. So those are the celebrities that, again, will sometimes appear,
Ah.
watching.
I thought they were racers. I'd like to see Prince Charles do that.
I'd like to see the Queen do it.
The Queen, yeah, that's right. Just put it in her hat.
So the town of Tetbury has a long and illustrious history as one of the most important wool markets during the Middle Ages. And although the wool market went into decline in the 19th century, it is celebrated to this day with the Woolsack Races.
I was telling the lovely Donna about John doing this story, and she remembers more about when we visited the Cotswolds than I do. And she said that this was a very well-to-do area. And the reason why is because they made so much money selling wool. So yeah, it was a huge deal until
It
people.
was a key marketplace. Yes.
Yeah, which
So
cotton.
the story behind the sport goes that the race originated in the 17th century when young men would like to show off, to the local women by running up the hill carrying a woolsack. And then an official race has been going on now for over 30 years. So it only became official 30 years ago. Okay.
Wow. I don't care how he dances. How does he carry a woolsack?
That's right. That's right. Anyone can register.
I don't care how he is in the woolsack. How does he carry it?
Oh, very good. So anyone can register to take part in the races. There are single sex and mixed teams, as well as a youth team for those 14 to 17 years of age.
Here's a couple of guys running downhill.
Okay.
Right. Here's a female.
There's a gal.
Female carrier. Boy, she looks like she's working. That bag looks almost as big as the one that the men are carrying.
I'm sure it's every bit of 35 pounds. For sure. Yeah. So
and here's some kids running downhill with little sacks on their backs.
Right. And again, the original running course of 280 yards ran from a pub called the Royal Oak to the pub named The Crown.
You
So
knew
Ah,
you
that was
knew
the
there were
beginning.
pubs involved.
Yes, it was. Yes, it is. And again, so since 1999, a shorter course of 240 yards has now been run.
Okay.
So yeah, and in over 30 years of a designated race each year, except last year and this year due to the virus, the Woolsack Races have proven to be a fantastic family day out, and more importantly, have raised a considerable amount of much needed money for for a good amount of charitable causes. So
That's a
again,
good idea.
it's a good idea all the way around.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now
now there
these
are
guys look pretty healthy here. This looks like one of the winning teams.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now,
Celebrate. I wonder what they won.
well, I don't.
Maybe the sack of wool.
I wasn't. I was never able to do any research on that, Paul, or find and Karen anything on that. So I'm not sure. But
little
there are
sheep
world
trophy.
records. There are world records that are kept. And,
World records. All right.
Okay, so for the Tetbury Woolsack Races, they're the distance of 240 yards, not quite 2.5 football fields. So for the men's individual, Pete Roberts, did it in 2007 in 45.94 seconds.
45 seconds to run 240 yards
40 yards.
with 60 pounds on your back. That's pretty impressive.
It is
That's pretty
impressive. For the women's individual, Lucy Collins in 2018, she was able to do the course in 57.10 seconds.
Okay.
The youth team that we saw, or a youth team, if you will, ages 14 to 17, the Mighty RFC Academy in 2019, they were able to do the course in 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
Wow. Like a relay.
So it's different than individual, and that's why it takes longer.
Yeah.
Okay. For the men's team, the Tetbury RFC Barbarians in 2003 did the race in 2 minutes 53.09 seconds.
Good name, the Barbarians.
Yeah, yes. And then for the
we lost John again. So there's a women's team. In 2018, they did it in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. And the mixed team, that would be interesting. Mixed team, both men and women. Go ahead, John.
Right. The BPF Hub in 2018, that team was able to do the course in 3 minutes and 34.06 seconds.
Long way, long time to be carrying 60 pounds on your back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can't underestimate the strength you have to be able to do that.
No kidding. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So.
Well, I again, John, I don't think this is a sport we'll be participating in anytime soon.
I would not recommend it for us, Paul. I would not.
Maybe carrying a wool blanket. I could handle that.
Oh yeah, sure, that would be fine. Just before you go to sleep.
Exactly. Yeah, wear some wool socks and a wool sweater.
And you're all wooled up, so to speak.
There you go. All right. Well, John, as always, thank you for what in the world of sports. Always an interesting, especially from England, weird stuff. And that means that it's time once again for what is it? Oh, Bluff the Co-host.
Bluff the Co-host.
Boy,
my favorite
goes away.
Show. favorite.
All right. Bluff the Co-host, as John mentioned, it's favorite sport, favorite part of the show, where I read 3 stories. It's very similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon, except the difference is some of them may be true, but some may be bluffs. And it's up to Karen and John to decide which one, and you playing at home or on the podcast, wherever it is you're listening. So without further ado, no betting on this, John.
All right. Okay. I understand.
Right, the betting window's closed.
Okay.
Let's go with story number 1. In a move to appeal to a more diversified crowd after being canceled last year due to the pandemic, the Iowa State Fair has agreed to allow a restaurant from Thailand to open a booth in the food court, selling nothing but deep fried insects. The restaurant will use all local insects, including grasshoppers, crickets, beetles, and grubworms. The bugs will be deep fried and served either in bags like French fries or in the more traditional state fair way on a stick. Prices will vary from $5 to $9 per serving, with the top price going for a creation the restaurant made especially for the Ohio State Fair, the deep-fried walking stick on a stick. If the booth does well in Iowa, the owners plan to expand to other state fairs and set up food trucks nationwide. Okay, so Iowa State Fair is going to have deep-fried insects on a stick in their food court this year. Karen, you know how much those state fairs love their deep-fried everything. We talked about deep-fried butter. What do you think? Deep-fried insects in Iowa.
No way it's going to happen.
Oh, no way. No way you're going to eat them, or no way it's going to happen.
It's not going to, they're not going to, no.
You don't think so?
No.
Not even to diversify the audience?
No.
Okay, John, how about you?
You know, I'm going to disagree with Karen on this. I'm going to say it's true. I'm going to say it's a true story.
John already drooling over there over the idea.
No, I would never eat it. Andrew Zimmern with his bizarre foods on the food channel or whatever. Oh my gosh.
Oh, but these are deep fried. You'd eat those. You'd eat a little bit some ketchup, some vinegar, you know.
Oh, not me.
Okay, so let's see. Karen says it's a bluff. John says it's real. What do I have here? It's a bluff, Karen. You're ahead 1-0. Very good.
Go, Karen. Okay.
Ooh, John. Okay.
John, right, you're talking Iowa. You know,
it's the heartland. I understand. It's the heartland, Karen. I understand.
Yeah, but deep-fried butter. Deep-fried crickets are not that far from deep-fried butter. Probably healthier. Anyways, okay. So Karen has one, John has none. Let's move on to story number 2. Just when you thought Florida had every invasive species known to man living somewhere in the state, a new one popped up, literally and figuratively. A woman on vacation from Vermont was watching the sunrise over Lake Okeechobee, the largest lake in Florida, when she saw something rise out of the water that she swears was the Loch Ness Monster, or at least the Florida version of it. The woman claimed she could clearly see a big head, a long neck, a large hump of a body, and a tail flicking from behind. Of course, she pulled out her cell phone too late for a picture, and her friends were too far away to hear her yelling. But she swears the monster, or whatever it was, did hear her. Just as she put her own phone down, there was another splash as the tail came back out of the water before it appeared to dive to the bottom, as if to wave. She notified Florida wildlife officials, who told her it was probably a log or an eel. And they said they were too busy anyways with all of the invasive pythons and monkeys to investigate a Florida Loch Ness Monster. John, you were just down in Florida. You know there's lakes and swamps all over the place and invasive species. What do you think? Loch Ness Monster comes to Florida, real or bluff?
Oh, that's true about all the water that's in Florida in all those areas, but it's got to be a bluff.
Okay, you saw the iguanas down there. You know,
I saw the iguanas.
Loch Ness Monster is just a big iguana.
No, I'm going to say it's a bluff. I don't know what this lady was smoking before.
She was smoking dried iguanas. Yes, okay, so John says it's a bluff. Karen, how about you?
I have to agree with him because Nessie would not go to Florida. No.
Not even for a vacation?
Not to Florida, no.
It is cold. It's cold in Scotland. No, you
Maybe
don't think so?
Hawaii, but no, not Florida.
It's a long way. A long way even for Nessie to swim to Hawaii. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So let's see. The Loch Ness Monster sighted in Florida. Karen says it's a bluff. John says it's a bluff. You're both right. How about that? Okay.
Very good.
So good. So Karen, 2 in a row. John has 1, but John, take heart because points are doubled in round number 3.
That's right.
So that's right. So you could pull one out here. So get ready. Here we go. Story number 3. If it seems like some convenience stores are right next door to other convenience stores in the U.S., it's even worse in one city in Japan, where a 7-Eleven opened in the parking lot of another 7-Eleven, and both are open and carrying the same Slurpees, beer, and convenience store sushi. The new store in the parking lot belongs to 7-Eleven, the company, while the old one behind it belongs to a 7-Eleven franchisee who refused to sell out to the corporation. Customers hate it because there's no place to park, and the store managers hate it because delivery trucks get the two stores mixed up. Everything will be settled in court, and the judge has already warned the lawyers for both parties not to try sitting in front of each other. Okay. So, two 7-Elevens, one built in the parking lot of another 7-Eleven in a city in Japan. I'll keep the city's name secret so they're not embarrassed. Karen, what do you think?
You know, this sounds like something a big corporation would do.
Ooh, oh yeah, you know those corporations.
Yeah, I don't trust them, so I'm gonna say it's a true story.
Oh, especially ones that sell as many of
Slurpees.
energy drinks, Slurpees. Yeah. Okay, so Karen says that a 7-Eleven in the parking lot of another 7-Eleven is real. John, how about you?
I'm going to agree with Karen. I think it's true. I think that I can see the corporation doing that just for spite.
I think Starbucks, I think, would do it. I don't know about I think Starbucks owns all their stores. Anyways, okay, so let's see. Karen said it's real. John says it's real. Let me look at the list here. You're both right again. Wow. Holy smokes. Wow. So that was 3 for Karen, a perfect score, to 2 for John. Not bad, John. You're up against the master here. She's been playing this game for a long time. So anyways, that's Bluff, the co-host for the week. And that is What in the World for this week here on Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. That sounds like a good thing to mention to wish everybody, no matter when we're here. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Karen especially for hosting and putting us on her great platform, newclevelandradio.net. As I said before, go there, listen to us, listen to all the shows. They're all free. They're all downloadable. Go and visit us on YouTube. There's instructions on how to get there at newclevelandradio.net, or just be brave and scan for us, and you'll find us.
You'll find us.
Yeah, and John, as always, we're glad you're back in Cleveland. We're glad you're back with the show. Great sport as always. I'm going to look at sheep and wool sacks in a totally different way from now on.
you never look at them in the way that you did in the past, right, Paul?
Or if I'm carrying something, I'm going to be thinking of those guys carrying 60-pound bags.
Yeah, really.
I carry my little bag of potato chips or whatever it is. I should have somebody do this for me.
And just remember, everybody, Mom does not want a stack of wool for Mother's Day.
Right. I would think so. I would agree.
Remember Mom this coming Sunday. And in the meantime, stay safe. Enjoy the nicer weather that we're having.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.